Alright, let's see if this thing comes back on now. Test my sound. I think it's working, but this doesn't seem to show anything over here. I don't know how long it takes for it to resync. Maybe refresh this. Let's try that. Dun 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 dun. Oh, okay. Clever Name says I can hear you. Alright, for some reason. Oh, there we go. Okay. Alright, I think we're good. It's a bit quiet though. Let's see if we can. Better? Testing 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, I can hear my thing. That sounds good. Okay, cool. All right, bonus stream. I like it. All right, so we were I'm just gonna finish up Cat of 9 here. So the neighboring office is doing something with the shop back. It's better now. Okay, good. All right, so you saw I got the defeat working, so that part's good. And we gotta fix these VFX still. But the other thing you had was, okay, we gotta get a red imp. So let's give the AI a red imp. Let's see. Yeah, I love these weird edge cases. That's the real noodle scratcher of this crazy, crazy card you concocted. It's gonna be fun though. And of course we gotta add something to show how many lives it has left too. That's another little thing I think we should have, because otherwise it might be hard to keep track of 9. 2's not so bad, but 9 would be pretty tough. Oh, that's the combo. Okay. Okay, so we got the red imp. So you said let's take control with the red imp and see what happens. Well, this case is gonna kill it. So that didn't help. If the red imp kills it, he won't possess it. We need to buff him up somehow. Let's see. That's not gonna help. Alright, let's get a bard in our team. It's a spherical card entirely made of edge cases. Yes, absolutely it is. Okay, let's see. We're gonna get the bard out. It's Kira. Kira? Alright, and that way we'll be able to buff the cat so that the red imp can actually steal it. So, at least as I'm thinking about the mechanics right now in my head, I don't foresee any problems with the red imp stealing. It should just kind of resume working as it was. But when it comes back, are you sure it will still be on your team? Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, I'm not sure. I believe the revival will come back to the controller. I had a lot of bugs in the past where there's a difference between the player owner ID and the player controller ID. And I know we had some issues with polymorph where you would polymorph a mind-controlled unit and then would go back to the original owner because I was using the wrong trait. It needs to be controller. But we're going to find out. So once I buff up the cat... Okay, now he's got enough life to survive the hit, so I should be able to steal him. Okay, so I have now stolen the cat. So here's the million-dollar question. Does he come back as mine or the computer's? Oh, it looks like he's mine again. Okay, well, that's interesting. Oh, you know what? That makes sense. That makes sense why it would do that, because it didn't actually change. It's got a status effect here. So remember, when things are defeated, they go back to the status effects are removed. That's one of the natural things that happens when things die. Their temporary buffs go away. So right now he's got a buff that says controlled by computer, and so upon death, he's going to return to the computer, or to me, because that buff is now gone. There's that weird BFX happening, but I don't know what that is about. But so I think that's expected, because there's all kinds of cards where you might want to use like a Dispel Magic, and then you could get control of him again, right? So that now he's mine again. Or if I want to, you know, for some reason give the computer back their imp. So that seems like it's right. And switching teams is a status effect, not a permanent change of an underlying attribute. In this case, yes. There's one unique edge case where, or I guess maybe a few, but like Your Soul Is Mine is an interesting one because that one actually resurrects it under your control, and that's a permanent attribute change. So Your Soul Is Mine has the benefit of being permanent, just like Raise Dead would also be a permanent one because it doesn't apply a status effect upon resurrection. If you dispel the cat, does it have lives left? Yes, it should. Let's start over and see what happens. Because we didn't attribute anything with the power to to the it's using an attribute to count as lives, not a status effect. So it still has lives even with the dispel. Okay, so we do want to add a counter to it though, because it would be helpful to know how many lives it has left and have it count down somehow. So let's see if we can do that. And I know you didn't want to have it dispel the Cat of 9. Okay, we don't want to have him lose his lives on dispel, so we'll see if we can figure out how to do that. Okay, so we're going to go in here, and what we're going to want to do is create a nested status effect. Yeah, sanity checks are important, absolutely. Always good to look at this stuff. Okay, we're going to call this live counter. I'm going to give this figure out. I'm going to have to maybe create a new way to display an attribute. Because what we're going to need to do here is have it filter and put in a particular attribute of our choice to report how many actual lives are left. Okay. Sorry, my throat's a little dry. Lives left. I know what we can do. We can count the amplitude. Okay, there we go. Dispel is very powerful and versatile ability, says Clever Name, and having it essentially delete a character's gimmick entirely seems less fun. That's my argument for not being able to dispel the cat. Yeah, I concur. The cat should be dealt with in other ways. There's lots of ways to remove. You could use a well, there's the removal spells. There's Disintegrate would blow it away for good because that would prevent it from using its downfall. But yeah, it could be pretty hard to get rid of. That's for sure. You need like just a general remove from play type of card. Okay, so we've got lives left here, and what we're going to need to do here is add some attributes. One of them is going to be cannot remove. Let's see, where is it? So putting the cannot be removed, disintegrate removing the cat forever is very thematic. Yes, absolutely. Okay, so cannot be removed will make it so that this status effect can't be taken away, and it's just this is going to literally just be a informative status effect. It's not going to be a buff or anything like that. It's going to be just a regular status effect, neutral. And we need to add one more effect on here for lives left, and or something to track. Let's delete that. Let's make a new. We're going to call it lives counter. Okay. Yes, save. Okay, and save that. Okay. So we got the live counter, we made it. Let's save this. Let's save the character before we go too far. Now we need to hook up the lives counter to actually show the number of lives that are appearing in the cat. So, we're going to need some additional triggered abilities here. Notably, we're going to need to have a Warcry ability. And I'm trying to remember what the Warcry triggers were. Actually, maybe it doesn't even need to be that complicated. It could just be a trigger event. Let's see here. Something, what should this be on? Control? Warcry. I'm trying to think of how to do that one. It's like when it enters the battlefield. Oh, I just saved it. Oh, I crashed the thing. Oh, no. Must have been a bug with that. I'm going to restart it. Transform the cat into something else and then killing it also seems like a good solution. Oh, that's right. That's the other one. Polymorph. Yeah, you could polymorph it into a squirrel and that would lose its powers. Absolutely. There's also some other spells we have coming up that'll probably neutralize it. There's a silence spell that you could use to mute its powers that would also be able to take care of it. Haven't made that spell yet, but there'll be all their counters. All right, I'm still trying to figure out. I'm gonna look at another unit that's got a Warcry ability because I think that's the one we want to use is the Warcry trigger, but it's a number of triggers that uses that. The Bandit Cutthroat has a Warcry. Give me hair power. Warcry. That's what I want. Okay, so on battle start, and looks like there's a specific trigger for Warcry. Okay, let's go ahead and copy this just so it's got the right trigger conditions I need. Let's go back, up, units, quad cat of 9. Okay, and here we go. New ability. Load this in. Okay, so we want Warcry live counter. Okay, so it's just writing down what this thing does. Okay. Okay, so what we need to do here is apply status spec custom. We want nested 0. Clever Name asks, are you automatically applying a status spec at the start of battle to the cat that just shows how many lives it has left? Yes, that's exactly what we're doing right now. So Warcry triggers whenever it enters the battlefield or a battle starts. And so what we're going to do here is have it so that the cat affixes that counter, and then we're going to give it the same amplitude as whatever lives it has left, and that should make it so that it just has a little sticker on it that you can use to see how many lives it has left. So it'll just be like a way of counting it, like a little special counter so that you can tell, because it's going to be really hard to count down 9. Okay. That's a very clever abuse of existing mechanics. I like it. Yes, absolutely. I'm hoping it's going to work. I think it will, but I've been wrong before. All right, so what I need to have this set to is not a number. I want this to be an ability user trait, and I think we called that trait lives left. We didn't make it a global trait because it's only used with the cat. So, and I want to set that on that. Yep. Okay. So what that should do is set the amplitude of the counter to the number of lives left, and then the amplitude keyword should replace and actually show the number. Okay, we don't need this to be cast. We can just execute on trigger, I believe. And we want this to be on the ability user, so we don't need any kind of targeting. It's just going to go right to him. And we don't need any sound effects or other weird things happening here. And I don't need any ideal animation either. And this does not need to be there. And we don't need a description of it either. It's going to be just a silent background ability. Okay, so that should add the live counter. Let's go ahead and test it and see what happens. So we've created the status spec. We've got the trigger for it. We can save it. This is so nice, having all of the nested abilities right within the cat now. I don't have to go dig through 500 abilities to find where his powers are all hooking up from. He's just all right there. Okay, so we should see that lives counter come back, and it should say, this might be kind of weird now, because it's going to say 2 lives left. I think that would be right. Let's see. See if it reads correctly. Lives left 2. There we go. Since it's triggered by a hidden war cry, I imagine the cat just shouting the number of lives it has. Yeah. All right, 3 lives left. we definitely need to have a really funny cat sound effect, too, when he lands back on the board. He needs to be like a some kind of crazy cat sound. That's what's going to make it really funny. See, it's like the mechanics are cool, but then it's like the little touches are what make it funny and just really amusing to play it as. I don't know if you saw my crazy Meteor Storm, but man, I swear, all I want to do all day is cast Meteor Storm because I love just destroying these goblins. That never gets old. It is so fun to blow them away. And it's just such a simple, interesting, just drop it on there. I don't feel like I'm doing much, but man, it feels great to just obliterate them. All right, so it says 2 lives left. Let's see if it counts down appropriately. So we're going to kill him. And now he's got 1 lives left. All right, cool. Oh, that was weird. He just disappeared. He should have died there. That was kind of not satisfying. Oh, that's because... That's interesting. That's because he has a death trigger ability, but even though the death trigger didn't trigger, he still did it. Interesting. Goblin noises intensify. Just gone. Yeah, that's a kind of a problematic one here. I guess I didn't account for that. So what happened is, I believe the way I do the so this explosion animation is the death trigger animation. That's how you know they're using a death trigger as opposed to just falling over. They all use this animation. But in this case, it fizzled because it didn't have anything to do. I don't even think it would have triggered, to be honest. Extra life fizzles because there are no legal targets. Yeah, I see. That's interesting. I wonder if, I'm not sure how I've hooked that up. If I have it hook up so that if it doesn't ever trigger, if it'll use a regular defeat animation or not, or if it just always uses that. I guess I've never had a case of a character not using the defeat animation. That's kind of interesting. You know what we should also test is, we should test disintegrating them. Let me get out the, and the fizzle prevents the rest of the animation from triggering. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that the animation just looks for whether if they have a death trigger ability, it just defaults to using the death trigger animation. But what I need to do is make it so that if it doesn't actually trigger itself, or if it's not used, then it shouldn't cast an animation. That's the thing we have to. I made to go and code that because I don't think I've ever had a situation before where I had considered not using the default death animation. They always would trigger the death thing. So let's try out a. Do I have a disintegrate? Let's see if I have a disintegrate in here. Go back to the Dex meteor shower test. Good. Let's throw a disintegrate into here. Do other units that have downfall also just disappear when they die? Well, yeah, they would explode and do their power. Although, did he actually explode? He didn't actually finish his animation though. That was the weird thing about it. He did like trigger, and he should have at least poofed away. That's why that's weird. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's going on. We're gonna have to do a little digging here. All right, so I'm giving the AI the disintegrate card so we can try and see what happens when I disintegrate some stuff. We're gonna try out, and we're gonna get a let's get another death trigger unit on our team. Let's get the water elemental. Because I'm curious now what happens. Even when he died, he should have. I'm kind of thinking about it, there's a lot of weirdness going on here. Because the first time, yeah, that was what was weird. He should have poofed away. That's what's strange. There's something going on here that's preventing it. There, that's what he should have done the first time, that little poof. That was what it was supposed to look like. Why didn't I see that the first time? It appears that I'm good at invoking animation state bugs. Yes, thank you for your help. Okay. Yeah, that was weird. The first time he didn't... Okay, so there's something going on there that's blocking that animation. I don't know what it is yet. All right, let's try the water elemental. So we're going to kill him. We're going to kill him. Okay, so that was his power. That's what it looked like. He did the correct explodey death. Now we're going to disintegrate him and see what happens. Oh, he just disappeared too. So it looks like that happens when it fizzles. It doesn't complete the cast animation. It just disappears. So that's a problem. What should happen there is it should just replace it with the default death animation instead of exploding or whatever, or at least finish the explode. So I'll have to dig into why that's doing that. Yeah, that's weird. I don't like how that looks. It's just it should still explode, I feel like. Or at the very least do a different kind of animation, like a default death or something would be cool. Yeah, I feel like it should do the default death or something at that point. Okay, let's test and see what happens if I disintegrate the Cat of Nine. He should not be able to come back. So he's got 2 lives. Oh, let's make sure that you can't dispel that. Okay, yeah, so you can't get rid of his counter. If I disintegrate him... Up, he came back. That's not right. He should not have come back. Did the water elemental use his power when he died? Let's see. Okay, so something is interesting here. Why was he able to come back? Well, that's good we test things. Alright, back to the drawing board on him. Something's wrong with that trigger. So, quad cat of 9. Revive with 2 lives. Okay, oh, no. Ability user cannot downfall. Interesting. Ah, yes, that would explain things. This, by the time we get to the remove play step, this has already been reset from that ability. So that's not going to work. What I need to do is make it so that we have to store that if it's defeated. Let's see here. Yes. Ooh, this is tricky. Okay. Ability user cannot downfall less than or equal to 0. Yeah, that's the right trigger for downfall, but the problem is that this ability is not being used on the defeat step. It's being used on the remove from play. No, less than or equal to 0 would be fine, because normally cannot downfall will be a 0, so that's the right numerical value. The problem is that the cannot downfall should be set to 1. So the disintegrate sets cannot downfall to 1, but I'll show you how the disintegrate works. This is why the problem is happening. Go back to spells and go to disintegrate. What disintegrate does is it applies this cannot downfall trait as a hidden status effect on the character. So it only prevents the downfall if it kills them, and after the command step has fully resolved, it removes the effect. The problem with the cat of 9 is it revives on the removal step, not on the defeat step, and that was something we had discovered with the Your Soul is Mine. So the issue is that this cannot downfall needs to be stored on the cat when it's affixed, so that it can remain there. In fact, that's actually how we could do it. We could have another trigger for when it's affixed with a ability that has cannot downfall. We just make it permanently downfall. That would take care of it. Let's do that. Units. Quad cat of 9. Okay. So a new triggered ability. This cat's got all kinds of crazy edge cases. A fixed status. And we want to go ahead and target the ability user in this case. Yeah. Alright, so trigger subject, event, target is equal to trigger subject ability user. And we need to make sure that the trigger subject event activator, which is the status effect being affixed, has trait cannot downfall is greater than or equal to number 1. Okay. I should also do something with disintegrate so that you can't. I feel like with this power, the other key thing should be that it can't be resurrected either. Like disintegrate should just completely obliterate something so that it can't come back. So I may have to add something about this cannot downfall Mm-hmm. You know what? I'm trying to rethink it. Maybe the better way to do this would be to modify the disintegrate because I kind of like that. I feel like it should permanently remove something from the game so that it can't ever come back. Let's undo this. Let's not do this way. I'm going to change the way the disintegrate works. I think that's a better way to do it. Spells, disintegrate. We're going to change it here. So cannot downfall. Edit. Okay, so what we're going to do here is how to do this. Subtract from trait life remaining by 1. Okay. I'm just trying to get the edge cases because there's certainly a case where you could disintegrate something and like a flesh golem would still heal it, so it wouldn't count. Man. These edge cases, I swear, they're so complicated. All right. Disintegrate is not a thing that you should come back from. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's a good point. So maybe disintegrate should just block any kind of thing, like even flesh golem. I feel like that should be its whole thing. It should just completely stop. If it kills you, it just totally eradicates anything from being able to heal you. But I'm not sure how to make it so that it can block other triggers. Because that would be cool if it like you disintegrated something and it kills it, but then you can't have the flesh golem resurrect you. But I'm trying to think how that would work. Something would have to block the triggers. I almost feel like if something has a cannot downfall trait, it could be a global thing where it just can't target it as a valid. Almost like if something has cannot downfall, it can't be targeted at all. It's just completely obliterated at that point. But there's so many weird conditions to that. Okay. How do we handle this thing? Maybe just give it a disintegrated trait. Yeah. I'm trying to think how I would then hook up and then just have things look for that. Indeed. Like if something is disintegrated, it should just be untargetable for any kind of future effect at that point. It just gets completely eradicated. So for the brief time that it exists between life and death, everything else can ignore it. Yes, absolutely. I feel like that's the appropriate thing we should be doing. So we could repurpose cannot downfall as that trait, and I'm trying to think now how to program that so it would be a global thing that would happen. We'd have to do something in the targeting to make it so that things that are disintegrated probably have to hard code that, unless you just remove it from the stack. But that might cause other issues. Indeed. Okay. It's like I need a secondary effect here. Let's try. Let's put this as group 1. Let's do target subject, target, traits, life remaining. No, I can't do it this way either. I'm trying to figure out how to cheat here, but then I'm thinking you could disintegrate something, and then it could have a shield on it to prevent the damage, and then that would negate the cannot downfall thing. There's just so many edge cases I can't figure out how to do it. Okay, what else can we do? Cannot downfall. Remove on defeat. Yeah, because I like the idea that you can't revive things that get disintegrated. They should not be resurrectable. That would be a really cool thing. So, and this is, okay, interesting. This is good. Okay. Well, we could do it the way we're doing here, but we put some remove unresolved defeat. Can disintegrate only apply the status effect if it reduces the target to 0 hit points? Yes. Well, so we need to apply the status effect, but then because we need to check the life remaining. If we check the life remaining at targeting time, it could potentially erroneously apply the cannot or the disintegrate effect. Deal damage, check remaining health P, then put the status effect on if it died of it. Right. Um, so the issue is that this is conditional targeting for targeting. So I could have it conditionally check to see if it has 10 life left. That's what I was starting to do over here. But I realized that if this spell gets countered or disrupted, like you have a prevent damage, if you prevent the damage, it'll still apply the disintegrate effect. So we can't check for the damage in the targeting conditions. We have to check for them somewhere else. So I'm thinking what we do is check for them within this guy here. Um, so I'm trying to think if that would work. Right, but then other things could mitigate it. Yes. Okay, so if this gets applied, we have the damage happening first, then apply this. Okay, so what we need to do is have a separate effect, another trigger for this thing that says trigger event, affix status. Okay, so when we affix disintegrate, we are going to target the ability user, the person who is. Okay, yep, that's good. Trigger subject event activator is equal to trigger subject ability source. Okay. And then we're going to say, let's do execute on trigger. That's fine. Okay, now we'll check the life remaining. So we're going to say trigger subject ability user. If ability user traits, if life remaining is greater than or equal to, or sorry, is less than or equal to 0. Okay. There we go. Then we're going to apply the and remember, for right now, we're just calling this cannot downfall, but we can always change that to whatever we want. Okay, to 1 on target. Okay, we're going to test this and see if that stops the cat from coming back. I think that'll work. Oops, I never gave this thing a proper name. Okay, disintegrate. Fix. Okay, I think that might work. Save that. Okay. Let's go back and test this with the cat and see if that works, because this should obliterate the cat. Then we have to test that with the shield and the cat and see if it still obliterates the cat. So we're going to try a few different things. Let's start with this and see if the cat gets disintegrated. Okay. We're going to add a cool VFX for this too. I have like a... Nope, he still came back. Dang it. How did he come back? Disintegrate on fix resolves. So it looks like it did it. How did he come back? That cat is tenacious. Spells. Disintegrate. Let's make sure I do everything right here. Okay. Set trait cannot downfall to 1 on target. The target is the ability user. The cat came back. You thought he was disintegrated. The cat came back the very next frame. The cat came back. You thought he was disintegrated. But the cat came back. He just couldn't stay away. Okay. Well, apparently it resolved it, so it didn't say it was fizzled for no valid target. Did I place it on the right thing? Ability user, in this case, would have to be the cat. Interesting. Oh, wait a minute. I'm trying to think of... I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but I'm going to change it to a 1 just to be certain it's not causing the problem. All right, let's go look at the cat again. I feel like this is right. Oh, this should be working. Go away, cat. Burn. No, he's definitely still coming back. Let's take a look at that thing again. Cat of 9's disintegrate unaffixed resolves. Cat of 9 is defeated. Cat of 9's remove on resolve defeat triggers. So this should never have triggered. And this triggered after this resolve, which is even more mind-boggling because if this resolved, this should not have been able to trigger. If it actually did, in fact, give it the correct attribute. Remove unresolved defeat. Okay, what am I missing here? Cast disintegrate. All right, let's do another. Let's just do something simple here. Let's try this. We're gonna bug out the disintegrate, and then just go backwards from there. Let's just go ahead and directly set the cannot. Let's just rule out this problem. If I set the trait, set trait cannot downfall to 1 on the target. Okay, that should make the cat not come back. Let's see if that works. If that doesn't work, the problem isn't the cat. If it does work, the problem is probably in the disintegrate. Yay, he came back. Okay, so the problem is gotta be in the cat. Because that was pretty obviously set to cannot downfall. So how did he trigger himself? That's so weird. Okay, let's look at that cat again. And I copied those downfall triggers, so they should have been the same. Okay. Ability user cannot downfall is less than or equal to 0. Well, we set it to 1, so this should be false. So this is what's blowing my mind here, is why this is triggering. Subtract from trait dynamic, lives left by 1 on target. Okay. Is it because the cat is not triggering on defeat but on removed? Or is that how downfall normally works? Well, downfall almost normally triggers on defeat, so this is a little bit of a different thing because for that to be able to revive itself, it has to trigger on remove, otherwise it causes problems. That's sort of the weird, unique edge case for the your soul is mine thing we did. But even still, the fact that it's either one of these is triggering makes no sense. In fact, you know what? I didn't check to see if downfall extra. Oh, this we gotta get rid of this. This is not even being used here. Delete that one to save myself confusion. That was the old one. I think originally, as this card text is written, we have them appear next to your summoner, but what we actually want to say is downfall, revive this unit until it has been revived. It's actually a lot simpler card text. Until it has been defeated 9 times. That's what it should say. Okay, and ability user cannot downfall is less than or equal to 0. And revive. Alright, let's save the cat again and let's go look at those. Look at the log and see what it's saying, if both those are triggering or what. Make sure I save the disintegrate too. Maybe I just forgot to save it. I don't know. I've been known to do that too. Set trait cannot downfall to 1 on target. Sidebar, if the cat is removed from play in ways other than dying, will it still revive? Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, that's a good point about that. It might. Like an unsummon type ability. Oof. Yeah, we're going to have to test that too. Let's test unsummon. Let's go back to our test. Swap out Ice Trap for unsummon. See what happens then. It's an excellent question because, right, unsummon removes it from play, and technically that trigger responds to remove from play, so that may in fact be a problem. We may have to detect if its life's actually been. We'll have to probably check and flag it as having been defeated. We'll have to look for that. We'll have to do some other work if that's the case. Let's try your edge case. Oh, this cat is starting to cause all kinds of problems. All right. So if I unsummon him, does he come back? He did not. Okay, that's good. I'm not sure why. I guess he would have come back, right? But apparently he did not. All right, so let's do this again. So we know he's going to come back and disintegrate, but let's look and make sure that those. Okay, so he came back. So let's look at these things. Okay. Disintegrate resolves. Okay, he's burning. He loses 10 life. Map cannot downfall. 20. Okay, Cat of Nines disintegrate on affix triggers. Disintegrate on affix resolves. Cat of 9 remove on resolve defeat triggers. Okay, this is interesting. What I don't see happening is Cat of Nines. His other power, the hero counter one, did not resolve. So I'm wondering if when something gets removed, if its attributes are being restored or reset in some way. Maybe that's what the problem is. I had thought that I kept traits persistent, but maybe I don't. Well, the cat has to have its traits persistent, otherwise it wouldn't be able to count down. The unsummon one was pushed and then popped really quickly. I guess so. We now have a stack of bugs with the cat. The unsummon one was pushed and then popped really quickly. Yes. Very true. Right on the stack, right off the stack. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so normally the cat has, when it dies, it should have 2 trigger effects. One to do that whole hero thing. He's got all kinds of problems with his animations too. Yeah, this one, set hero off on defeat resolves. So the disintegrate blocked that from happening, which is interesting. I'm almost wondering if there's something weird about. Yeah, see, this is where we're removing the disintegrate thing, and somehow it's like that. Maybe. All right, let's try something else. Let's go to spells. Let's go disintegrate once more. And remove that, just to eliminate possible confusion, making it very clear that we're setting. Interesting. All right, set trait count downfall to 1 on target. I don't know if it matters where I put this at, but let's put that there. Okay, so now we're just going to directly flat out call it's been disintegrated, and it doesn't come back from that. Okay, that worked. So now he didn't come back. So it was some kind of weirdness with that status effect being removed that caused the issue. Okay. All right, let's go back to that disintegrate. I think we can fix this. Okay, what we're going to do is okay, let's go back down here. All right, apply status effect. Custom nested 0. Okay, and now I'm going to go back and change this guy. All right, so what I think I want to get rid of this is what I want to get rid of. What we're going to do is do this instead. Okay, we don't have to have this. What we're going to do is, okay, assign target. We're going to give it 2 trigger conditions. Target subject, and we want to filter target. It's, yeah. Okay. Target subject, target. Traits. Okay, so if it's life is less than or equal to 0, we're going to make that group 1. And then we have another condition for target subject, target, traits, life remaining, greater than 0, and make that group 2. Okay. This will only happen if it's group 1, and no matter what, we're going to remove the status effect at that point. Remove status effect. Boom. This should be remove status effect on source. Okay. So there we go. Save that. And then let's get rid of this remove unresolved defeat. And we don't care about this anymore. We can get rid of that. Save this. Okay. I believe that will have the effect we're looking for. So we're making disintegrate a lot more potent than it was. You don't come back from disintegrate. You're just disintegrated. Okay, here we go. Disintegration test. Yes! All right, the cat is removed for good. All right, we got that working. Now the question, I believe I could still revive him. So we're gonna put a revive spell in that test deck to take a look at that. Let's get rid of chain lightning and just do revive. So rather than going and reprogramming all these things, I think I'm going to make a global engine rule that we'll use to determine whether or not something that's been disintegrated can come back. So maps. Okay, getting there. Start game. Okay, so we're going to disintegrate him, and then we're going to see if we can revive him, and I believe we should be able to revive him. Okay, so he's been disintegrated, but watch that. Oh, he's back. So he's not really disintegrated, is he? Alright, so what we're going to have to do for this is go into my HM remove unit from play command. Okay. So, or is it defeated units? HM defeat unit. Here we go. Alright, so the defeat units command normally puts defeated units into here. Oh, wait, we could just remove them from game. Oh, we don't have to change the engine rules. We can just do it and disintegrate. That's how we'll handle this. How will the new disintegrate interact with raise dead? You won't be able to raise the dead. Disintegrate's going to remove things from play, so that's how we're going to have to reword how disintegrate works. I don't have to change the engine code. We can do it right here. We can just use the remove from play attribute. Will it raise the second to last unit defeated? Yeah, technically disintegrate won't defeat you. It will remove you from the board the moment you're disintegrated. That's what we're going to attempt to do. It's going to just completely destroy you. So what we're doing here is it's kind of funny, to be honest. I don't even know if we need cannot downfall. We don't even need this attribute anymore. We could just say, I'm pretty sure I could just do this, remove from play. Oh, okay, I'm to think of it. Maybe I can't. No, I think we do need to do that still. We need them both because the way I do the remove from play is not instant. By setting a trait, set trait, remove from play to 1, and this will only happen on group 1. We'll have to come up with another fun way to reword this. If you die of disintegrate, you aren't defeated, you're just gone. That makes sense. Absolutely. Okay. So let's see if this does the trick. Ha! Yeah, that was kind of cool. Look at that. He doesn't even do his animation anymore. He just completely gets destroyed. He's just gone. He's just vaporized by the fire. That's perfect. Nice. And let's see if we can revive him. I believe. Nope, we cannot revive him. He's just gone. He is gone forever. Oh, that's perfect. That is perfect. So he's just gone. I love it. I like that with the fireball particles. Yeah, it works pretty good. That actually it fixes their other problem with that goofy, weird half-dead animation. That's perfect. It fixed all my problems. And he's just gone too. It's not quite Infinity War Dust, but it's great. Oh, yeah. Speaking of the Infinity War Dust, yeah. So here, watch this. We're gonna get that. I told you, VFX are coming. This is my particle exploder. There you go. There's the Infinity War Dust. Let's stop this so you can do it in slow motion. So this is a statue. Disintegrate. That's not very great. I think I have another one I made that's a little bit more interesting. There we go. There's your Infinity War Dust. In the loop. Let's not loop it. Let's just do it more like this. There we go. We can preview something else too. Ooh, nice. Yeah, indeed. Let's see. What else can we Infinity War Dust? Let's do a pine tree. Where's a pine tree? Oh, it's probably not because those are tiles. Let's do placeables. Pine tree. There we go. Render that. Happens so fast you don't even notice it's happening. There we go. Infinity War Dust. Yeah, this is cool. I forget the exact algorithm I use to make this happen. It's like a fracturing algorithm that creates, basically just takes a texture and cuts it up into tiny little polygons, and then I can scatter them like I would with any other type of particle. So it particleizes anything, and I can change the color idea of that. So these kind of all fade to black as it's going there. That's what's happening there, which is kind of fun. So it looks like that's disintegrate there. That's what it should be doing. All right, card idea: Infinite Snap. Cast Disintegrate on half of the non-hero units on the map. I've got really good snaps. Oh, ow, this finger's kind of hurting for some reason. There we go. There we go. All right. So there we go. We'll get that working for disintegrate. But we've successfully disintegrated and stopped Cat of Nine. Oh, I guess one thing we should make sure of is the edge case where Cat of Nine does not have. Let's get Kira back on the board. We need to buff up the Cat of Nine. Make sure that if he's got enough health to survive disintegrate, if he doesn't disappear. Okay, so. Okay, now he's got plenty of life. Let's see if he should still be able to come back from this. Okay, so that worked. Now let's go kill him. Okay, so he should come back. And he did. Good. Okay, good. Excellent. Maybe the Cat of Nine should turn to dust when it dies the last time. Like it's just out of gas. I know, I can't wait to get that dust effect in there. I want it so bad for like burning the trees and for blowing up stuff, like smashing furniture. That's why I put it in there, because I didn't want to have to worry about creating specific deaths for all the placeables. To just have a nice part, like smashing barrels, like all kinds of fun things we can do with that. Yeah, I do have to fix this weird death animation, because in this particular case it just sort of fizzles, and so when it fizzles, it just does that. The dust looks super good, by the way. Thank you, I appreciate that. Yeah, just a little fun little effect. Yeah, it'll be interesting to particleize this because he's not one solid texture. He's a multitude of textures, and so I'll have to probably do something where it has to actually go through each individual part of the body and drill down and remove it. Cool. All right, well, I've got to take a break to go and do another pickup. Got to pick up my son now, so that's it for now. But I'll hop on Discord when I get back, and we can maybe do this again so we can figure out what other weird things are left with this cat. But we got the disintegrate working. We got the little counter working. We got the transfer life working. I'm sure there's some other weird things we haven't tried yet, so I look forward to doing that when I get back. All right, I'll see you guys in a bit.